Miss Nikshita, who works as a pre-primary educator at National Center for Excellence, Mandu branch, which is located in Bangalore. To get to know more details about the school, let's have a conversation with her. Hi, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
So, to begin with, you have been in this field, early childhood education, for over a decade now. So, what first drew
Yes.
you to working with little ones?
Sir, no, it's their smile or love towards the school. As soon as they come to school and they see our face, so this is what motivates me daily to come to them and talk to them and be with them. It's hardly it's been a decade. Seeing their smile itself is a big thing. So this is what motivates me every day.
Got it, ma'am. So, you have experienced both CBSE and IB curriculums. How has
Yes.
that mix
Yes.
influenced the way you approach teaching?
So, in the beginning, it was CBSE, and in the middle, it was IB. IB has a proper structure. When it comes to CBSE, we'll always have updates. They're trying to bring to a structure and with a lot of updates. This is what I see the difference between IB and CBSE. But most of the time, it's better to have CBSE as it's our own inbuilt curriculum of our India. So, CBSE supports a very nice and structured way when it comes to pre-primary.
And can you also talk about any changes in your teaching approach after you shifted to CBSE curriculum?
Yes, actually, CBSE day-based method, which is all integrated with the kindergarten method. The difference is it's not on one particular way. There are different ways which I can teach through songs or through stories or hands-on activities. All there are different types of things which I can teach them. So CBSE made it very efficient by using the five domains of learning. So area of development, that is what a CBSE has made a
Got it, ma'am.
yeah.
So, when you think about early years, what do you feel are the most essential skills children should build during this stage?
So mainly the communication, the socializing, and their fine motor grip. So these are the basic things which they have to be developed. These fine motors that is using with our hands. These nerves are connected to our brains. So definitely it triggers a lot. So fine motor and gross motor. Gross motor is nothing but the entire body movement. So that makes a difference. And the other thing is our socializing. So how well they communicate and socialize with their friends, with peers, that matters a lot in pre-primary. That is the most important part.
Got it, ma'am. So, can you share a memorable classroom moment that really touched your heart or made proud as you can being a teacher?
Recently, we had a theme called Community Helpers. So we had asked all the children to dress up as community helpers, and I had created a village where each community helpers who were there. And what happened is, as soon as all the teachers entered the class, my class presented in very nicely in such a way that how community helpers contribute to our society. I was really surprised. They came up with their own answers, and they knew. Even though I've told them what is they have collected more information on the community helpers, and it was very easy for me also, and I was very proud of them. It were very small age, and it was hardly 2 3 months into the classroom, and they had this proper way of telling what is happening with helpers, all that. It was really a nice moment with them. It was a
Got,
proper village setup, and this went very nicely.
got it, ma'am. So, ma'am, as you know, pre-primary kids usually love fun and play methods. So, how do you make learning
Yeah.
both enjoyable and meaningful for them?
So, sir, there are different types of children in our class. It may be the auditory learners, or the visual learners, or hands-on activity learners. So, there are different types of children in our classes. So, we make sure that they will have all the varieties of fun learning things happening. So that if there is an auditory learner, he can learn through songs and through the way I speak. If there is a visual learner who sees the IP panel and the way I act, or which I connect them with the real life. And hands-on activities, we give lot of play items, and we basically deal with the toy-based curriculum. So in ECC, there is a toy-based pedagogy. So we take that, and it's totally fun. And when they see the toys, or when they see the classroom full of with the equipments which they can enjoy, definitely the classroom is fun and learning happens a lot. So they enjoy.
That's great to know. I'm going to our next question. Emotional development
Yeah.
plays such a big role at this stage. So, how do you help children express their feelings and build empathy in class?
So, sir, we have certain classroom rules which is happening in our class. So, this basically classroom rules and routines. We have a proper rules and routine. So, where children can communicate with me very openly, we have this bonding time. So children sit with all of us sit together, and every day we have this feeling session. So how do you feel today? What are you feeling? If they're sad, they can share. I am very open. I have kept it very open so that they know if we are sad also we can speak to my teacher. If I'm happy also I can share it with my teacher. It has been a routine. So every day there is a bonding time which is happening so that they will come and share where kids are feeling very low to tell. I take them calmly to a library corner or any other corner of the class and talk to them very easily so that it'll be like privacy also is respected, their thoughts also is spoken to me. So this is how I keep their emotional balance. I'll be open with them, I'll give an opportunity and listening. Definitely listening to the little ones is the major part.
So, have you
So
seen
this
any
is how I do.
progress following these methods where a child
Yes.
who usually was an introvert later turned out to be an extrovert and very open in terms of communication?
Yeah, I've seen over the years, I've seen a lot because in the beginning, definitely they were not opening their mouth. And I also have handled the PP1 classes, that is the nursery classes. This happens a lot in the younger classes, that is the PP1 classes, as they will be slowly detached from the parent and it's new to getting into the school. In that age, it'll happen a lot. So that time I have experienced a lot, and over the period of 2 to 3 months, definitely they have made a lot of difference. And I've done a lot of case studies on this, and it has made a lot of difference. And I've also guided the parents to give some play dates, arrange some play dates where they can go and talk to their friends. So this ideas with the parent and along from my end, we have done this one-on-one. So it has worked a lot.
Got it, ma'am. So, with technology becoming part of everything in a current situation, so how do you maintain that
Yeah.
balance between screen time and hands on play based learning?
When it comes to our curriculum, definitely there is a visual part also. Most of the time, we will keep it to our interaction itself, how I voice modulate or how I give expression. I usually do depend on that. In very few cases where I make them understand the process of, like, for example, we had the plant theme. So I had to show them what is photosynthesis. How do photosynthesis happen? It is not a part of their curriculum, but then I wanted to tell them this is what is photosynthesis. In that process, I will show the IP panel or the videos which is relevant. Definitely visualizing with the animated part is also very important. So I make sure I balance both the things very well. Even I teach them and I also show them and I connect with that together.
Got it, ma'am. So, are there any precautions or any special care being taken to make sure that children are not getting addicted to this mobiles or be it in any
Yes, yes.
electronic devices that you use?
Sir, we had the special assembly on the awareness of the phone. So what happened is we as a teachers had a role play. So I became a teacher, one of the teacher became a student, and one of the teacher became mama. And we had this role play thing, which happened in the special assembly. And it was like the example shown, the child is watching the phone whenever it's eating or just moving around watching the phone. And what happened to the child's eye, all this enacting and role play we did. And it was they went home and they told and they have made sure that they have reduced the screen time after the role play in the assembly. So that was really a major thing. This is how we taught them through the schooling.
Got it. So, ma'am, as you keep interacting with the parents, so what's one thing you wish every parent understood about supporting the child's learning journey at home?
The parent, first of all, should accept our feedback. Once the parent is ready to accept the feedback which we are giving, if they are acceptable, definitely it makes a very huge difference. Definitely, as we say, both hands come together, it's a clap. It's one hand is working, one hand is not working. It's not a deal. So when the parent is very freely taking our feedback and working on that with us together, it really makes a huge difference from the parent. And also the support which we need is to accept the feedback which you're giving.
And what kind of support does the school provide you in terms of taking any new initiatives, or if you want to have anything being communicated to the parent? So, what kind of support do you get from the school?
Sir, we have this MCB portal. It's a communication portal. So usually we communicate and connect on daily basis through daily updates. We will be connected to the parents, and every month we have a meeting called We Connect. So we connect with that and talk to the parent and communicate all the things. And also we have lot of parent engagement programs where parent is also part of our department. They come along with them. They enjoy with us. So this is how we are connected to the parents, and definitely our schools have made sure that we are always connected, always interacted with the parents, and we also take a lot of feedbacks from the parents, so that next time what can be improvised, what can be done next time very well, what went wrong, what we didn't go well, all this we take, and definitely next upcoming programs will be more improvised. So this is how our school is giving the connectivity to the parents.
Got it, ma'am. Ma'am, to conclude our interview, if you have one major USP that you want to talk about National Center for Excellence Mandu branch, what will it be about?
NCFE school mainly focused on the holistic approach of the child. So when our vision is aligned to the holistic development, and contributing to the larger community is mostly valued in our school. So when we prepare the children for the future ready children, so we prepare them for the future, and with the holistic approach, we will definitely make sure that children they are ready for the future, and with lot of upcoming programs or the developmental areas which we are focusing, children will make sure that they are future ready. This is what is our school USP: holistic approach and future ready children.
Got it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining and sharing some of the great insights about the school.
Thank you so much.